While we determine the best path ahead, Concord sales will cease immediately.
Yep, I just
Here's the
checked
big
Steam and it's already off Steam.
All right, folks, coming to us from the PlayStation blog. This is big. An important update on Concord. Remember, Concord is supposed to be sort of an Overwatch-esque game. It is part of this very woke push from gaming where we've seen Dustborn, Concord, Star Wars Outlaws, and the rest. And we are being told by the mainstream and by the access media and by the shills that everything's fine. Everything is dandy with gaming. No problems here, sort of like what we were told about the comic industry from 5 years ago. Ryan Ellis, game director from Firewalk Studios, the company behind it, says this. Get ready, folks. Bet you didn't see this one coming. This is almost unprecedented. Concord fans, we've been listening. Yeah, all dozen of you. We've been listening closely to your feedback since the launch of Concord on PlayStation 5 and PC and want to thank everyone who has joined the journey aboard the North Star. Your support in the passionate community that has grown around the game has meant the world to us. However, while many qualities of the experience resonated with players, we also recognize that other aspects of the game and our initial launch didn't land the way we'd intended. Therefore, at this time, we have decided to take the game offline beginning September 6th and explore options, including those that will better reach our players. Now, that might sound to you like they're going to do an extended update of the game. Think again. While we determine the best path ahead, Concord sales will cease immediately.
Yep, I just
Here's the
checked
big
Steam and it's already off Steam.
Wow.
We will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased the game for PS5 or PC. If you purchased the game for PlayStation 5 from the PlayStation Store or PlayStation Direct, a refund will be issued back to your original payment method. This is out of this world. Customers who purchased from other digital storefronts will also be refunded. More information about refunds from Steam and Epic can be found below. This would indicate to me that it's over. Either that or they're going to put it back in the oven and it's going to take a year or 2 years more and they come back and try a giant mea culpa. But it sounds to me like this, another woke game, gosh, I don't even know how much money was spent to develop this.
I heard that
million,
Sony,
200 million?
I heard Sony stood to lose $200 million on this. I don't remember where I saw that, but that number is reverberating in my head.
Yep. So this is massive news. Jonas, of course, you and Culture Casino run that game place. Your thoughts on this huge shakeup of the industry and perhaps the beginning of more?
Well, this is a hero shooter like Overwatch. This is supposed to be the kind of game that you would normally expect something like this to be free to play because you want to bring in as many players as possible as early on and trying to get 5 people to make the jump together from one multiplayer game to another. That's already difficult enough with a $40 to $50 price tag, depending. Already with it being a PlayStation and Steam exclusive, that is even more friction. And the fact that there was nothing in here to try to grab people and bring them into the game. The character design not strong for many of the characters. And anybody who was off-put by this, to quote a large man sometimes referred to as a silverback, present day that is put into this game, it's off-putting, and there are so many other options because with video games, the old stuff doesn't go away. It just sits there right next to it because they remaster the old stuff, and everyone remembers how good the old stuff is. And it plays just the same now as it did in the past. So why would I give this a chance? Why would customers give this a chance? There is one thing I want to say about PlayStation here. When a large gaming company does a mea culpa, that is a big deal. Nintendo does it once in a blue moon. I'm thinking about like the 3DS Ambassadors program thing where they dropped the price on the 3DS by $100. And then they gave all the people who bought the game bought the 3DS early, like 10 games that were not guaranteed to be on the virtual console, things like that. PlayStation, when they had their network outages, that was when they offered free games from PlayStation Studios, before it was called PlayStation Studios, to anyone who was affected by that outage. This is something that someone probably above PlayStation, probably someone from Sony proper, intervened and said that this was such a catastrophic failure that something had to be done. Now, they haven't made it right to anyone. Just refunding isn't making it right. They haven't gone so far as to say, well, we'll give you something else. This to me is just tucking your tail and running and trying to mitigate the short-term damage. When did this actually launch? Was it like 4 days ago or something?
Very recently.
And I think that the refund is to try to prevent a class action lawsuit. So it's not as if they're being kind doing this. Kara, your thoughts on this post from Romantic Egoist, who says, heck of a month for modern audiences. Acolyte canceled after 1 season. Borderlands, one of the biggest bombs in movie history. Concord, player peak count 697. Dustborn, highest concurrent count 83. This audience does not exist. Kara, what do you think about it?
That's not true. There's at least 5 of them.
I mean,
There's
5 is
they don't
technically
exist.
still an audience, yes.
There
I
are
mean,
dozens of
one
us.
can be considered-
Dozens.
Tens of us. Tens of us.
Right.
Is that that's a Arrested Development
Mhm.
reference? I know that one.
Yes, it was.
So I actually have a screen pulled up right now where there's another game that just came out into early access that is a team shooter similar, I believe, to that was supposed to be as big or basically what these games are trying to be are the Overwatch killers. They're trying to push Overwatch out of the way.
I think Blizzard already killed Overwatch all on their own. I don't think you got to kill
Yeah,
it.
they did. I haven't played Overwatch 2 since the day that it launched. I played one map and I was like, this ain't it. But I have been having that itch to do a good team game. And like whenever I first saw Concord, I was like, okay, we'll see where this goes. And I was like, well, they're obviously trying to do their own thing. Maybe they'll get the gameplay right. I didn't see anything after the initial launch. And then, of course, I saw all of this going down with Concord. I walked in the other day and my husband was watching an artist actually go through each of the characters from Concord, each of these characters, and explain why all of these characters themselves are the reasoning that not only that the game is bad, but they're not visually appealing. They're not visually drawing people to the game. And
These people worship ugly.
Well, not only ugly, but also just a lack of understanding of character development and like the thought process that has to go into creating a well-designed character, not only for like the silhouette of the character, but color combinations and color theory and understanding values. And like that was what I was watching the other day. And I saw like, he's just like, these are a nightmare. And like just the visuals alone can be contributing to the off-putting of customers. But one thing I want to say is that there's a game that I just got invited to the early access for called Deadlock. And it is another kind of multiplayer shooter type game. And do you want to take a guess? Actually, let me look and see when this game first dropped. It just I believe the early access to this just dropped like within the last 2 weeks. And do you want to take a guess as to how many players are in this at this very moment?
12.
I'm going to be so bad at this. 7,000.
113,891.
Whoa.
That's what's in at this very moment. And this is a invite only game. You can only get into this game if you are invited.
So you're just trying to tell us that you're special is what I'm hearing.
No, what I'm saying is there are more players in an invite only game than Concord.
Infinitely more.
Yes, because Concord is now at 0.
That's
Concord down at 0, but Concord was
amazing.
Around 100 recently. So,
Pro, I'm gonna take over your screen for just a second. I need to point this out. This is just from the middle of last month. Concord, the launch in the adventure, ahead. I just need to point out the language here. This is from the same guy, the game director at Firewalk Studios. He says Concord Season 1 launching this
like
October.
the Acolyte Season 1.
Right.
Nice.
Right. So this is the intention here. They've said that they have years of content that they were already working on for Concord here. So they thought they had another Fortnite. They thought they had another I almost said Ratchet and Clank because somebody said Deadlock. Another Overwatch on their hands here. And for some reason they decided to launch it without anything recognizable as far as IP goes. Without one, strong male, normal-looking fella, without a hot lady. Not that everything has to have a hot lady in it. They didn't have anything that the basic gamer would just go, yeah, I want to play that. That looks fun. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen anything about this game that someone has said that looks fun. I'm going to go do that. And forgive me, my philosophy whenever I talk about a game on that game place is it needs to be fun.
Yeah, that's kind of the point.
I will say they did not take an IP that was already created and try and add in these things. I'll give them that. They tried to do their own thing and realized that it failed, and that sucks. But that just because they want to implement all these different things doesn't mean it's going to succeed. You need to know. You got to do your market research. You got to see, you have to, I mean, it's a business. You have to be willing to compromise and like, okay, what's the average gamer's age range? What's their gender? What is all of that? You have to have realistic.
Oh, they covered all the genders on this one.
Exactly. And
so let me give some quick data on this, and then Kara, I want you to continue. This is took 6 to 8 years to develop, is what I'm seeing. It has made everybody brace yourself for this one. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars put into this thing. It will end with $1 million in sales. $1 million. It came in at 1/700th of what it is estimated to have been projected originally at its sales pitch to be put into production.
Ooh, that's painful.
1/700th, 6 to 8 years, and this is the conclusion they get to. Kara, continue, please.
My main thing is they just need to gaming is still a business, and you need to have realistic goals whenever it comes to you can say your character is this, your character is that, but what's actually going to appeal to the general audience instead of you see so many types of studios that are catering to a very, very a fraction of the player base.
Dustborn
and Dustborn and Outlaws. I mean, Outlaws is, I guess Star Wars Outlaws is different just because it is Star Wars, but at the same time, we've all seen the crap that has. I mean, I was watching a streamer the day the content creators had access to it, and she's not in this sphere. She's a big time Twitch streamer. And she is a huge Star Wars fan. She's like, yeah, the world's okay, but the dialogue is horrible. All of the NPCs are horrible. The gameplay is clunky. And she's somebody who does not know anything about this type of content or the commentary types of. She's just a general Star Wars nerd. And even they aren't enjoying it.
Well, it's happening to every franchise. One of my favorite gaming franchises is Dragon Age, and Veilguard is supposed to be released in October. And I was originally looking forward to it. It's been 10 years since Inquisition.
Yep.
Fantastic game. One of my favorite go-tos. And so I was really excited for the upcoming. And then I saw the trailer, and it's like what she said, you're watching it and it looks kind of cool, but then it's something is wrong. And I start seeing the players that they're introducing, and I'm like, they're detailed, but there's something that's wrong. And that's when all of a sudden you you don't quite maybe have a name for it yet. And then you start reading reviews or commentary and you're like, that's what it is. And it is. It's all the DEI, whatever stuff like that, all the diversity and everything like that. And they're changing it. And then I started realizing, yeah, a lot of these women aren't really very pretty, or they're not very curvy, or they're curvy in all the wrong place. Yeah. And then when they had my girl Morgan show up, and I thought, who the freak is this frat girl wannabe cosplayer that they have parading around as Morgan? This is not.
They've shown Morgan. I haven't even seen that.
She looks like a cosplayer, like a cheap cosplayer trying to go to Coachella or Burning Man.
Oh no!
And I'm like, that is my favorite person in the world when it comes to these games. And so and then when they started doing reviews on the board and everything like that, and they were talking about what to expect from this game, one of the first things that they mention is the fact that you get to decide what kind of underwear they can wear and whether or not you want to toggle the nudity off, which for my personal preference, I appreciate that. But that is not necessarily one of the first, 5 things that I need to know what kind of customization I can put to the underwear. And I was watching this guy this morning who's like explaining this, and he's like, if this is what you're focusing on, he's like, yeah, okay, great, customization. We all love customization. But if the game sucks, it doesn't matter how pretty or interesting your character looks. We should not be focusing on customization. We should be focusing on story and gameplay. But that was like minimal at the bottom of the list when talking about this game.
They took away the ability to control your party members the way you used to be able to, but now we've got the ability to pick undergarments. So
I, for one, enjoy postmodern neo-Marxist androgyny in underwear. It's so much fun. The embodiment of everything that's collapsing the gaming industry at this moment.